and so we got all the ideas together, and then we sent Matt and Eddie to Lee.
Nick brought Matt to me, and we had a chat about making a better trials frame for him. So we took a look at his bike and his riding style, and then got it all onto the computer and went from there.
The bike Pashley designed was specifically for trials. Mountain bike shapes are becoming more diverse with different designs for the various disciplines. For downhill, the bike needs to be strong and have full suspension to cope with the speed, jumps, bumps and bashes. For cross-country, it needs front suspension, but has to be very light to help with the punishing uphill sections and grueling long distances involved. And for trials, you need a bike that's different again.
To do mountain bike trials, you need a bike like this. It's basically a normal mountain bike with some slight modifications. It's very strong and very light. It has a steep head angle. It also has a very high bottom bracket so that you can clear over obstacles. And to stop the ring from being damaged, you use a bash guard like this. The ring is very small for quick transmission. Flat pedals are used without clips so that they can get their feet off the bike in tricky situations. Hydraulic rim or disc brakes are used depending on the weather conditions for maximum power and control, and that's about it.
Having got the right equipment, the next thing you need is ability. It's fairly obvious that this isn't going to be an easy sport to master, so how do you get to be any good?
It's all about your balance really, and I think it all comes just down to practice, how much practice you do. And you know, I don't really believe in natural talent really. I think it's just, you know, the best people are the people who've done the most practice. We live in Stratford, so it's a bit there's not many places to practice. The only thing we can really do where we live is street riding, which basically just involves going to the nearest town, city, and just finding sort of man-made obstacles to ride on.
The local rock group down the street is trying hard to learn their song. They serenade the weekend squad who just came out to mow his lawn. Another Pleasant Valley Sunday, charcoal burning everywhere, rows of houses that are all the same, and no one seems to care. See Mrs. Gray, she's proud today because her roses are...
There's no doubt that mountain biking has now got a huge following, so if you practice and practice, there are actually heady heights of fame to be achieved. Nobody personifies that more than Martin Ashton and Martin Hawes.
They've just totally pioneered the sport in this country. They are both very, very, very good, and that's how they've got where they are really, just by being absolutely the best in the country.
Known as the Two Martins, they've taken what was once a training aid to an art form. They perform displays at big events like the Mountain Bike World Cup, which might lead some of the purists to ask, why are they doing tricks rather than a proper mountain bike trial?
We do get asked a lot, well, you know, especially like days like this where there's a trial tomorrow and we can't go. Like people say, oh, why aren't you going to a trial? And it's always like, oh, you're not going, all right, not good enough anymore because we're a bit older and whatever. But people forget so quick that we already did all the competitions and won them every time, and still do. Last year I won them all.
The Two Martins have a very strong following. They're undoubtedly a major reason for the rising popularity of mountain bike trials. Because of that, they have to deal with something almost unheard of in the mountain bike world: fame.
Some of the big bike shows, we end up being headliners, you know, so people know we're coming, and it does get busy. It gets to the point where like we'll try to go somewhere. We'll leave like the place where we've just done our show and then go to our sponsors area and sort of try and do an autograph session there, and they see you walk and they're like, oh, can you just sign this? And if you stop, that's it, you won't be able to move because you do just end up getting crushed. It's a bit pop star-ish, but hey, he's going to knock that.
It's really cool that people, you know, are interested in it because of us, and that's like the, you know, most flattering thing, because it means you're doing it well. And you know, they come along and they've got pictures that magazines that they've kept for a while, and they've waited until they found you at an event to sign that magazine and stuff, and that's really wicked.
It may appear to the untrained eye that the two Martins can defy gravity, but they maintain that everything they do is achievable with practice, and that trials actually isn't that difficult to master.
The thing with trials is you don't need a mountain to do it. You can go out in your local supermarket car park and find a couple of walls at varying levels and set yourself a new level each night, can't you? You go, right, 2 bricks, right, I'll do the 3 bricks, I'll do 4 bricks. And you can build up that way. It's an easy basis to learn.
Right, lining up now. Getting the front wheel to roll on. Nice and gentle.
Having got the basic skills, the next step to doing better tricks is basically a mind over matter exercise, using techniques like visualization.
When you're lining up to do a big trick like the 360 or something like that off a big drop, you do visualise it, but it's sort of real simple things like just trying to stay really, really calm, and the main thing is to think that it's no different to being a metre off the ground, being 3 metres off the ground, because you just psych yourself out. You've just got to be really relaxed, and no rider ever goes out and just goes, oh, I'm just going to ride off there. Everyone's practiced it and they're confident, and you don't get many riders who try things that they're not pretty confident they're going to do, unless they're pretty mad.
There was a sharp contrast between the noise and crowds of the demo riding at the World Cup and the tranquility of the first round of the British Mountain Bike Trials Championship, where Eddie Tongue was competing. With Matt and the two Martins absent, Eddie's major rival was trials purist Chris Ackrig. He's not a big fan of demo riding and instead prefers the real thing.
For myself, I prefer to be out in woods doing this sort of thing, because it's what I like doing. This is like pure trials, whereas like it's crossing over a lot now. Like you need your sponsors obviously to get that good, because you're going out, you're breaking your bike, you need a sponsor to replace that product, or whatever. And like the only way you're doing that is to go where the crowds are. There's not many people here, but it is getting better. But there's like the Martins have branched off. I know Eddie Tongue and Ian Cooper do a lot of demos, but like Paige pushing me to do like a lot more demos. But to be honest, I'd rather be in the woods.
Although Eddie was looking very proficient, he's only 17 and has only just become strong enough to compete at this level. Chris is far more experienced, but he'd been out of competition for over a year because of injury.
I had a really bad year last year. I went dirt jumping and landed on my collarbone and popped that out. Before that I was doing some demos, NEC Motor Show, and landed on my ankle and twisted it right round. Racing Dougie Lampkin, like world trials rider, so I beat him, so that was good. And then somebody started a bit of an argument with me and nutted me in a pub, so I clouted him and broke a finger in my bone in my hand, so that's another one. So a bad year, pretty much out all year. Just managed to get to 2 rounds, but apart from that I've just missed everything. So I'm on my comeback here this year.
The competition involved completing 10 grueling sections twice, with the rider who accumulates the least number of penalty points winning. The exertion involved was immense. Eddie became tired and started failing entire sections, getting the dreaded 5 points.
Eddie started really well, and I think he's getting a bit tired or something. Does he have how many fives? Does he have? Probably 3.
On a really tricky section, Chris's style is never to put a cautionary foot down, which would only mean 1 point. Instead, he'd rather risk getting 5 points in an attempt to go for a clean round. But with new riders like Eddie at his heels, that might not be so wise.
When I first started, it were just, 1 or 2 of us that could do a win, but now it's getting good. There's like, 5, 6 people here now today. It's like it could have gone either way just by making one silly mistake, and then you'd have been out of picture really.
However, when the final scores were totaled, Chris beat Eddie by 7 points. Eddie had only lost by a whisker and had showed phenomenal promise.
I think he's got potential to go as far as the Martins have. It's just quite a lot of it comes down to luck, you know, being in the right place at the right time. So you got to have a bit of luck, but I think, you know, he's definitely got the ability.
I got second to Chris, and Chris is like a worthy winner because he's definitely the best rider here.
Chris wasn't satisfied with winning his first comp after a year off. He'd been beaten by one of the sections, so afterwards he went back determined to conquer one particular rock. He tried and tried and tried until he beat it.
Come on!
And in the end, that's what trials is all about.
I think it's like you've just seen here. It's like you see something like out of corner and you think, oh, I could do that, and you start doing it a couple of times, and then you realise if you could do it or not straight away. It's like you know that you can do something, but it's beating you, and obviously you don't like things beating you. You just want to conquer it, and then you just feel, you know, you do it and you just get a bit of a buzz out of it. So that's good. That's why I do it. It's in my way, so I just want to get past it.